In the past 24 hours, Yunnan Province in southwest China has experienced large-scale flooding due to torrential rains affecting dozens of counties. The northeastern regions, including the cities of Zhaotong, Qujing, and Huize, were particularly hard hit. Meteorological services recorded up to 227 millimeters of rainfall in 24 hours, a record high for the past 65 years. In Zhenxiang County, rainfall reached 214 millimeters, causing a sharp rise in the Nanpanjiang River. The river overflowed, flooding nearby villages and agricultural land. More than 3,400 residents in the Zhaotong area were forced to leave their homes. In Qujing, dozens of streets were submerged, with water reaching depths of 1 meter in some areas. Bridges in the villages of Lunton and Shangbei collapsed, cutting off transportation. Over 1,200 rescue workers were deployed by emergency services. They were sent to Lopin, Shushui, and Fuyuan counties, where the most severe flooding was reported. Reservoirs including Jinshajiang and Hetan reached critical water levels. Authorities were forced to partially open sluices to relieve pressure on dams. This caused additional inflows into already swollen tributaries of the Yangtze River. More than 65 schools suspended classes for safety reasons. Over 73 kilometers of roads were washed out, including parts of Highway S 213. A landslide occurred in Huize district, destroying 3 residential buildings. Reports indicate 10 injured, who were taken to hospitals in Qujing. More than 19,000 households lost electricity due to the storm. Water supply was disrupted in 47 settlements. Heavy rain lasted for 3 hours, turning streets into rushing streams. Farmlands planted with corn and rice were submerged. Over 5,600 hectares of crops were affected. Agricultural losses are estimated at over 32 million yuan. Local farmers say they haven't seen flooding like this since 1998. Authorities in Zhaotong issued an orange level weather alert, with red level alerts in some areas. Hydrologists report the water level in the Honghe River exceeded safe limits by 1.6 meters. In some places, the current accelerated to 22 kilometers per hour. Water destroyed part of a dam in the village of Shillong, prompting urgent evacuations. Police and military set up temporary shelters for displaced people. Over 8,000 evacuees are housed in schools, gyms, and government buildings. Food, drinking water, blankets, and medicine are being delivered. Some areas remain completely cut off. In Qujing County, the only bridge connecting a village to the highway was washed away. People were rescued by helicopters and inflatable boats. "17 drones are assisting in rescue operations. They are used to locate survivors and assess damage. Mobile signal in affected zones is unstable. Temporary mobile communication stations were set up in high-density areas. Meteorologists forecast continued rainfall for at least 48 more hours. This raises the risk of secondary floods and landslides. Weather agencies issued recommendations: avoid lowlands and leave river-adjacent homes. Transportation has been disrupted in 9 cities. At Zhaotong Station, 12 trains were cancelled. Delays were also reported on intercity bus routes. Four public transport lines were suspended in Qujing. City authorities opened a hotline for residents needing help. Volunteers and medics are working around the clock. Trucks are distributing food and clean water in affected neighborhoods. Psychological support stations were set up. Some areas experienced internet and mobile service outages. Due to high humidity and standing water, there's a growing risk of gastrointestinal diseases. Medical teams are conducting preventive measures. Hundreds of people with symptoms of hypothermia and shock were hospitalized. Some victims require rehabilitation. The Ministry of Emergency Management sent additional personnel to Yunnan. About 300 units of equipment, including excavators and pumps, are already operational. A contingency plan is in place for mass evacuation if the situation worsens. Meteorological services say cyclonic activity remains strong. The weather front is moving northeast from the southwest, also affecting Guizhou and Guangxi. The National Disaster Response Committee held an emergency meeting. Steps were taken to coordinate efforts between provinces. Residents were advised to follow official sources and alert systems. Construction along rivers was temporarily suspended. Around-the-clock monitoring has been increased on major bridges and dams. Water control services are monitoring dam integrity. Reservoir levels are on average 18% above normal. Officials from the Ministry of Water Resources called the situation in Yunnan critical. More than 56,000 people have been affected by the floods. Total number of evacuees exceeds 17,800. Authorities pledged additional funding for recovery efforts. So far, the damage is estimated at more than 170 million yuan. General Secretary Xi Jinping ordered rapid response and full restoration efforts. The flooding is a stark reminder of the climate risks facing the region. Yunnan has begun discussing modernization of hydrological infrastructure and early warning systems. Experts believe the disaster revealed the vulnerability of current systems. Yunnan authorities called for unity and support from neighboring provinces. A full inventory of damaged infrastructure has been initiated. Reconstruction has already begun, but the road to recovery will be long.